Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Shaman King on a Kyoyama deck profile. This will be one of the last decks I do for the Shaman King series for Overdress format with the latest support we have for the game. This deck focuses on using your main go-to Vanguard, which is Ana Kyoyama, Mount Osere Levois, and her two Spirit Guardians, Shikigami Goki and Shikigami Zenki, being able to easily call these units out onto the field and then have additional attack power and critical plus power, giving the actual physical form basically to the 0 critical spirits that you can use on the field. I don't have the Ogre Spirit, which was a promo additionally along with Mount Osere Ana, but I'll show you what cards you can take out for additional spots for that card as well in the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, there actually isn't a ride deck for Ana in the deck, so I'm running Yo Asakura for our starter. I just find it the most fitting for the starters, and standard when voted upon. If you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Shaman Yo Asakura. When placed on Vanguard by riding from Yo Asakura, you search your deck for up to 1 Legendary Samurai Midamaru, call it to your back row center, and shuffle your deck. So it just gives you a free boost with this card, which is very useful, and then just an additional draw power when you ride your grade 2 Fated Battle Yo Asakura, giving you the counter +1 to draw a card, and when it's boosted by an Midamaru, and then that additional +5 draw power as well. You don't really use your counterblast for much in the deck because our main go-to grade 3 is Mount Osere Levois, Ana Kyoyama. It's your main go-to for the ride target, so aside from the rest of the ride target just being Yo Asakura, we have this to rely on, and along with the copy from the ride deck, we are running 3 additional copies because it does have Persona Ride and Soul Buildup, and when you do Persona Ride, you have the additional skill of when this unit is placed on Vanguard, choose a card with Ana Kyoyama and its card name from your soul, and you may call it to rear guard. So you have the option to call the unit you Persona Ride on top onto the field, because having a unit with Ana in its card name on the field is definitely very, very important for this deck. And on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, at the end of the battle that your Shikigami Zenki attacked, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Shikigami Goki in the same column as Shikigami Zenki, swap their positions, and that Shikigami Goki gets critical +1 until end of turn. So you can also boost up their power thanks to this as well, but then you can just utilize those multiple attacks thanks to this card giving you 4 attacks in the deck and the additional critical, meaning you'll at least hit for 1 damage, because like I said, spirits don't have any critical, and just being able to hit for 1 damage makes a very big difference when you attack multiple times also in the deck. For added backup for units, I'm just running 3 copies of Fighting Together Yo Asakura. So this can be a late game potential card. If you're out of spirits, let's say your opponent retires them and then you're just out of resources, you can at least ride on top of Ana with your Fighting Together Yo Asakura. And on Vanguard Circle, when it attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, counter +1, and it gets +1 critical until end of turn. So you do have the Oversoul option still with Midamaru, which we are running in the deck as well, to draw a card and giving your front row an additional ++ power. But like I said, it's just that additional late game critical +1 that can be the pressure needed to at least hit against your opponent for game. That's it for the grade 3s. Moving on now to the grade 2s. Ideally, I do want to run 4 copies of Goma Chobuku Ana Kyoyama with this card. When placed on rear, you counter +1, Soul +1, search your deck for up to 1 Shikigami Zenki and Shikigami Goki, and call each one to rear guard and shuffle your deck. So this is the search power needed for the deck, searching out the 2 important units for the main grade 3 Vanguard. That's why you definitely do want to run 4 copies of this Ana in the deck, so you always have that search power. And the Vanguard really doesn't use any counterblasts or soul blasting aside from the Soul Blast 1 for the swap power, so you can save that for your plays that you'll do here. And once again, Ana doesn't have Oversoul, so you don't really have to rely too much on putting into Soul for this play, so you have to rely on just the Persona riding for the Soul build up with this card also, if you don't end up calling the Ana Kyoyama from the soul to the rear guard also. But still very, very useful and needed for the deck. For more protection plays, I also run 2 copies of Let's Just Take It Easy Yo Asakura. When it attacks, it gets +2000 for each card in your damage zone. And when this unit is attacked, Soul Blast 1 until end of that battle. If this unit is hit, it does not retire. So more of a protection for the other attack. You're going to be attacking with your Zenki and your Goki on the 1 column. So you just need something good on the other one if you don't end up calling a grade 3 Ana to the rear guard thanks to it. And that is it for the grade 2s. Moving on now to the grade 1s, being the important spirits they are. I am running 4 copies of Shikigami Zenki. With this card, it's just needed for the additional power. If you have a unit with Anna in its card name and a Shikigami Goki in the same column as this unit, it gets +5 and critical +1. So this is the makeup for the fact that the spirits have 0 critical to begin with. So this card can at least hit for damage when you're going to be doing multiple attacks. And at the end of each turn, if you do not have a unit with Anna Kyoyama in its card name, retire this unit, which you will because your Vanguard is going to be Anna Kyoyama in this deck. So you'll always be able to at least save your Shikigami Zenki on the rear guard from being retired. With the other grade 1 that we run is 4 copies of Shikigami Goki. I only had 3, sadly. So I just replaced the 4th copy with 1 hanging there. And with this card on rear, if you have a unit with Anna Kyoyama in its card name and Shikigami Zenki in the same column as this unit, it gets +10,000. At the end of the turn, if you do not have a unit with Anna Kyoyama in its card name, retire this unit. So the main play is obviously to attack first with Zenki, just like the setup is made, and then being able to choose a Shikigami Zenki and swap their positions, giving the Shikigami Goki with your Mount Osore Lavoie Anna Kyoyama the additional critical to it after swapping. So then you have each of these spirits that is able to attack into your opponent for at least that 1 damage also that I spoke of. But you want to max out all those numbers because your opponent's definitely going to try to at least retire these rear guards and then just take away one of your main go-to plays in the deck altogether. I also run 4 Itako Anna Kyoyama. So you have just another unit with Anna potentially. I really don't recommend calling your Sentinel to rear guard because you will always have your go-to grade 3 Vanguard unless you do end up riding the Yo Asakura one. And if you want to keep the rear guards, then it's an option, one you probably shouldn't take, but still available to you to do. With the other grade 1s just being 2 copies of Legendary Samurai Amidamaru for the surge power to call off of Yo Asakura. I run a 2nd copy, so we also have the Oversoul potential with this card as well later on. And for the orders in the deck, I run 2 copies of Invocation. If you have a unit with Anna Kyoyama in its card name, you play it with a Counterblast of 1, search your deck for up to 1 spirit unit, call it to rear, and shuffle your deck. So if your rear guard is retired, you at least have this play to call 1 additional spirit to the rear guard circle, depending on which one you may need for the play. I only run 2, though. You can rely on the grade 2 Anna for much better consistency for your columns using those spirits. And also, I run 2 copies of Knock You Straight Down to Hell. For the option, you play this card. If you have a unit with Anna Kyoyama in its card name, choose 2 of your opponent's units, and their original power becomes 0 until end of turn. So this is just so your spirits can hit for even bigger numbers against a 0 power. I thought of potentially, bumping up the numbers for some of the orders. You could knock down Amidamaru to 1, and then also just drop the number of the Yo Asakuras you're running as well for 2 additional spots for each of the orders, and then run 4 of each. If you wanted to run the Ogre Spirit, I would recommend knocking down the number of Yo Asakura grade 2, and even some of the other spirit spots for the additional Ogres that you can run on rearguard to work with the Anna deck as well. With the last of the lineup just being the trigger lineup, so we are running 7 critical, so 4 Unyielding Battle, Amidamaru, and 3 of the Sealed Ultra Senji Ryukets. I don't run fronts just because you have these swap options, so you give the power to something that potentially already attacked, so it'd be a waste for that rear guard that's not yet attacked. And I also run 4 draw, so 2 of the results of Hellacious Training, and 2 acting like Yo Amidamaru. If you had 2 more copies of this card, you can swap them for the Amidamaru unit. And lastly, our heals are 4 copies of Amidamaru as well. There's no Anna heal in the deck, sadly, so we just had to make do with the, I would say, mostly related cards to the theme of the Anna deck, with our over trigger being Oversoul Strike, just being the additional damage this card can do, plus the option to activate it like an order to retire all of your opponent's rear guards. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Like I said, this was one of the final decks I had to make for the Shaman King series, and I hope you all enjoyed it as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.